Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're diving headfirst into a single, pretty fascinating source. It offers a very specific, maybe, well, unconventional take on some recent events. We're talking about that apparent conflict playing out very publicly between Elon Musk and Donald Trump, especially on X, formerly Twitter.
That's right. And this source, it puts forward a narrative that basically says things are absolutely not what they seem. Not on the surface, anyway.
Right.
It suggests there's something much deeper going on, a hidden operation, supposedly.
Exactly. So our mission in this deep dive is really to explore what this source claims is the real story here behind this, public feud.
We're going to pull out the key claims, look at the details they give.
And understand the, well, surprising interpretation it offers. Now, it's crucial we're clear.
Yeah.
We're here to understand this source's perspective, the arguments it puts forward. We're staying impartial about the claims themselves.
Yeah, absolutely. Just laying out what the source says.
And it focuses specifically on Musk criticizing a Trump legislative proposal and then those pretty controversial posts that followed.
Okay. So let's set the scene then, based on how this source describes the apparent conflict.
Okay. So according to this source, it kicked off with Elon Musk, who they note is generally seen as a Trump ally, attacking something the source calls Trump's One Big Beautiful Bill. OBB, they call it.
Right, OBBB. And the source actually spends a bit of time describing this supposed bill. They claim it's engineered with some, well, really huge goals.
Like what?
Like collapsing central banking influence, bringing in an asset-backed currency, repatriating wealth, countering globalist trade deficits. So, in the source's view, it's a massive deal.
A very big deal. And the source says Musk's attack, it wasn't subtle at all. He apparently criticized the spending, the overall direction.
But then, according to this text, Musk dropped what they call a nuclear bomb.
Okay.
And that bomb, as the source sees it, was accusing Trump of being linked to the Epstein blackmail network.
Wow. Okay. And this is where the source kind of takes a detour, right? To describe this network.
Exactly. They claim it's this system that's controlled or, well, compromised elites, presidents, royalty, CEOs, technocrats, for decades.
How, according to the source?
Allegedly through things like ritual abuse, child trafficking, using that compromise for control. Heavy stuff.
Very heavy. And then the source points to Musk's actions after that.
Yeah, specifically a post June 5th, 2025, saying, "Mark this post for the future, the truth will come out." And then the source notes, Musk posted that old 1992 video, the one from Mar-a-Lago with Trump, Epstein, and NFL cheerleaders.
Right, that video caused a stir. But here's where the source really pivots, offering its first kind of major counterclaim, right?
Yes, exactly. They make a really strong point, insisting that video means nothing, like how many people took it.
Nothing. How do they explain it then?
Well, according to the source, it just shows Trump at a public event years before the full extent of the Epstein stuff was widely known. And the source then adds details claiming Trump actually has a negative history with Epstein, saying Trump banned him from Mar-a-Lago, cooperated with investigators.
And they even claim, this source does, that Trump's the only U.S. president to order a direct military crackdown on international child trafficking rings.
That's the claim they make, yes. Trying to paint a very different picture of Trump's relationship with Epstein than that video might suggest to some.
So if the source says the video isn't damning for Trump, it raises a question, doesn't it, even within their own logic?
Yeah.
Why would Musk post it now?
And that question leads us straight to the source's core thesis, their central argument.
Which is?
Their position is what looks like an ego clash, maybe a betrayal between allies, is actually, quote, theater of war, or deception warfare, even a psychological operation.
A psyop. Okay. And does the source say why? What's the alleged purpose of this operation?
They claim it's designed to do a few things. Flesh out deep state agents, which in this source's world means hidden actors working against their preferred side. Also to activate sleeper narratives and force the, quote, Epstein-linked elite into, like, premature exposure, making them show their hand too early.
Interesting. So how does Musk fit into that? Does the source offer explanations for his actions?
It offers two main possibilities, both fitting this psyop idea. One, maybe Musk is under pressure himself from embedded Epstein blackmail handlers trying to split up the MAGA tech alliance before this OBBB bill can land.
Okay, that's one theory from the source.
Or two, and this seems to be the one the source leans towards, Elon and Trump are actually running a joint psyop together to deliberately bait these deep state assets into making mistakes, fatal moves.
And Trump's reaction. or his lack of a huge public reaction.
Yeah.
The source sees that as significant.
Very significant. His silence is described as not a mistake. It's a tactical decision, what they call the tell.
Yeah, to hell.
Yeah. According to the source, Trump gets this isn't about, winning a Twitter fight. It's about achieving that exposure we talked about.
Okay, so this leads into a specific tactic the source mentions, shadow flushing.
Exactly. They introduce this counterintelligence concept they claim is being used right now.
All right, let's unpack that. Shadow flushing. What does the source mean by that?
They describe it as a tactic where you use a controlled leak, or like here, a controlled public conflict, specifically to provoke hidden agent sleepers into revealing themselves, making them react.
And the source claims this recent trauma.
Yeah.
This is that tactic in action.
That's exactly their argument. They say the moment Musk posted that video, the deep state, again, their term thought, aha, an opening.
And that triggered.
According to the source, it immediately activated their media assets, compromised politicians, and CIA-linked influencers who started pushing those old Epstein-Trump narratives again, recycling them.
And the source says that reaction, that was the plan all along.
Precisely. That's what the supposed Trump-Musk operation was waiting for, according to this text. And they claim that now military intelligence, another term they use, suggesting a specific friendly faction is actively tracking everything.
Tracking what exactly?
Comms, money flows, mapping out the whole Epstein influence web, as they call it, in real time, using the reactions to this Musk post as the catalyst.
Wow, okay. But the source acknowledges this is risky, right? I mean, the public perception is just conflict.
Oh, yeah, they definitely acknowledge the real risk because the public narrative, the media focus, it all looks like a genuine, messy falling out.
But the source insists it's just a distraction.
That's the claim, that this public drama is merely the distraction phase of a military-grade sting operation.
Military grade. And they offer specifics about what's supposedly happening behind the curtain.
They do. Some pretty detailed claims, actually. Like, they claim Trump's team is finalizing evidence for military tribunals, they say, tied to the Epstein network.
Military tribunals. Okay. And what about the tech side, Musk's side?
This is a key claim. They allege SpaceX satellites, which Musk controls, are being used with white hats.
White hats meaning?
Meaning, in this source's context, the good guys within intelligence or military structures working towards their goals.
Got it. So satellites used with white hats to do what?
To monitor global trafficking routes. Even encrypted comms between alleged Epstein clients. That's the claim.
And it doesn't stop there. Neuralink.xai.
Nope. The source claims Musk's Neuralink and XAI tools are mining metadata, from public reactions to the feud, cross-referencing it with sealed FBI and NSA records linked, they say, to Epstein's finances.
So putting it all together, from this source's viewpoint, Musk isn't just being erratic.
Not at all. The source firmly believes he knows exactly what he's doing. And that Epstein tweet wasn't betrayal. It was an opening salvo in this bigger game.
Which leads to maybe the source's boldest claim about Musk himself.
I think so. They state the deeper truth is that Elon Musk allegedly has access to Epstein's true client list.
The true list, meaning?
Meaning, not just some potentially sanitized version floating around. They claim it includes classified logs, satellite images, and AI-confirmed identities, stored in, quote, military intelligence black vaults.
Black vaults. Sounds serious. Implying super secure hidden data stores.
Exactly. And the source asserts Musk holds this data as, well, massive leverage.
Leverage against who?
Against the deep state, as they define it. The claim is, if they try to fully burn him, attack him decisively, he could theoretically burn the entire system down by releasing this data.
And that tweet Musk made, mark this post for the future. How does the source reinterpret that in light of this leverage claim?
They argue it wasn't actually aimed at Trump. It was a warning aimed at the handlers still clinging to the Epstein blackmail mechanism, the alleged controllers of the network.
A direct warning shot, then.
According to this source, yes.
So let's move towards the source's conclusion. How do they see this playing out? What's the reaction from the other side?
They describe the reaction from the deep state as panic because they supposedly don't know. Is Elon bluffing? Has he flipped? Or is he really executing Trump's plan? They're unsure, causing panic.
And Trump's position in all this, according to the source?
They claim he's already won this round.
Already won.
Because, the source argues, the enemy revealed itself. The deep state showed its hand by reacting the way it did. And the Epstein narrative, they claim, was deployed too early by Trump's opponents, which exposed their media playbook.
So the trap, as the source sees it, worked.
That's their take.
Okay.
And they wrap up with some specific predictions for when this phase ends.
Okay, like what?
They predict the full declassification of Epstein's offshore financial records. That's one.
A big one, if true. What else?
Surprise indictments, specifically targeting media executives who, the source claims, tried to revive that Epstein-Trump smear narrative during this whole thing.
Indictments of media figures.
Yeah.
Okay. Any others?
And finally, they predict a joint appearance. Trump and Musk together again after the dust settles.
To do what?
To reveal, quote, covert evidence of deep state infiltration, specifically in the financial and space sectors.
Wow. So the source's final word on this. It's not a breakup, but a purification.
That's the framing, not the collapse of the alliance, but its final purification. Their view is the deep state made a fatal mistake trying to use Epstein again because the trap was set for them.
It really is, as you said, a highly specific, very intricate, and definitely unconventional narrative this source presents.
Yeah, it weaves together these very public events with claims of hidden ops, strategic deception, deeper motives you just wouldn't see on the surface.
Well, that was certainly an interesting deep dive into this particular source and the very specific story it tells. We've really tried to unpack its claims about these complex events, pulling at the details, the interpretation. And again, just to reiterate, our goal was purely to understand the narrative within this text, what it claims is happening behind the scenes.
Exactly. Just dissecting this source's unique perspective, the arguments it lays out, which, suggests this whole layer of strategic depth and hidden activity far beyond just the conflict you see in the news.
Definitely gives you food for thought. So here's maybe a final provocative idea for you to consider, drawing directly from the source's core claim. The source basically says that even huge public conflicts, things everyone sees, can sometimes be deliberate theater, masks for deeper operations designed to expose hidden forces.
Right.
What are the implications if that kind of dynamic is actually at play sometimes, where the most visible events, well, they aren't what they seem at all?
It certainly pushes you to think about power dynamics, information warfare, all from the specific viewpoint presented in the text we explore today.
Well, thanks for joining us for the deep dive.